Shine your light, shine, shine, shine your light, shine, shine, shine your light.
Well, hello. It's Nancy Maddox on WYTV7 out of Charlotte, the Christian Broadcasting Network. And I'm broadcasting on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And I'm so excited today. We have such a special guest, a special young helper who's an international author as well as a teacher in the inner city in Chicago. And I'm so excited to have you, Miss Precious Allen. So say hello to everyone, Miss Precious.
Hi. Thank you for
Okay,
having me.
well, before we start, I want to just give a little plug for WYTV7. We are a nonprofit, and all of our donations go to promote the broadcasters internationally. So our shows do go on to iHeartRadio as well as internationally for people to see and watch and hear. And we hope that we can promote those, continue to promote those by donations that are given to WYTV7, a nonprofit. So I want to just throw that out there now for you. So if you feel so desire to plant a seed, please do so. Now, Precious Allen is just really so exciting and precious is just one of my favorite words. So I'll be saying it a lot, even though that's your name. Anyway, Precious Allen is an international author and a teacher. She teaches in the inner city in Chicago, which is very, very exciting. She also is a global goodwill ambassador, which excites me too. I'm a new global goodwill ambassador, as is Precious. So that means she's going out globally to teach children and to help them. Now, the name of her book is Love You for You. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the book in just a little while. But she also is a very passionate about building self-esteem and preventing suicide among young children. Having attempted suicide twice herself, she's learned how self-esteem plays a huge role in wanting someone to take their life. So without further ado, let's get busy with her. First of all, what do you think why do you think the suicide rate's rising in children 8 to 14? I know you quoted an article at CNN that said that the suicide rate among children ages 10 to 14 has doubled. So
Yes.
why do you think children that has happened?
I think different factors can come into play. Like I know for one, bullying is a very big factor that plays a role in it. And for example, like scientifically, the human brain isn't fully developed to the age of 25. So for a 10 to 14-year-old to experience, bullying, and they don't really know how to kind of respond to it, it's a lot of pressure on a child. So it can kind of make them feel like the only way out is that way, especially, when sometimes they talk to adults and, we tend to have a, well, kids will be kids kind of attitude. But to them, it's very real. Depression, the depression that they're feeling is very real. So that's like one thing that I've noticed, like even with working in the school system for the past 7 years. Another one is lack of self-esteem, feeling like they're not, smart enough, feeling like, they're not on the same level as other people, comparing themselves to other people. And then feeling like they don't have a voice, like they're not heard. And then another thing I noticed was, I guess, gender roles, like maybe, I've come across a couple students where they've told me that one boy told me that he feels like God made him the wrong way, that he was supposed to be a girl. So I didn't really know how to, respond to that, but he's been getting counseling and things like that. But when you have those issues to where you have a boy who's adamant about, I'm not going to respond to you unless you say that I'm a girl, or like, I'm not going to be your friend unless you say that I'm a girl. And these are things that, he said in the classroom. some kids will poke fun at that, and so to not have really many people to relate to that, it can also, cause someone to want to just kind of end it. So I think that there are like different factors that kids go through, that we as adults didn't really have to, we went through things, but now with social media, it's so easy to, spread things, and things can go viral now, as opposed to, if you get into an argument with someone in your neighborhood, then it just kind of stays within your community versus like the whole world sees it now.
Well, that's exactly right. I have two grandchildren. They're 13 and 11, two boys. They're what we called in the old days towheads, which are white-headed. They're white-headed, and I often feel like I worry about them being bullied because of their hair being so white, and it just worries me all the time. It's one of my continuing prayers every single night is to please protect them from bullying, because children are tenderhearted at that age, and they peer pressure is really bad. In one of your bios, you said that from experience you were bullied as a child, and you were tall and you were skinny. You wore homeless looking clothes, but also from the ages of 5 to 12, you were molested by 3 people. That took a big toll on you. So I guess maybe that's why you attempted suicide, which I'm happy that you didn't follow through with that. But with that kind of background, it makes you really, it makes you be able to understand and communicate with the children so much better. And I'm sure that's what prompted the writing of your book too. What challenges do you face or see in the classroom in regards to children having low self-esteem? Is it the same thing that you just said about bullying and that kind of thing?
Definitely. Bullying, and then like to look at the bully itself and see that they have low self-esteem. Some of them, when they go home, they're being called dumb, stupid. Sometimes, they, like I said, they compare themselves to, to other people in the classroom. But it's a lot of what I've experienced working in the city of Chicago. It's a lot of like self-esteem based, to where like I'm not feeling good about myself. So if I'm not treating myself well, then why should I treat you well? Like what makes you a better person than I am? So that's what I've kind of noticed a lot. Trying to build that self-esteem. I do a lot of yoga in my classroom. For the past 3 years, I've been doing yoga, meditation, affirmations. It has helped so much with the building of the self-esteem, having kids feel that self-worth within themselves. I start off by doing individual yoga so that they can get to know themselves and love themselves and trust themselves. And then I do partner yoga so that now that, I trust and love myself, I know how to treat a partner. And then we move on to group yoga where, even my shyest kids, they're so open because they learned that, we're all connected, one way, like we breathe the same air, we live under the same sun, we sleep under the same moon. So like they realize that like, we're all connected, and that we all want the same thing. We want to be respected. We want to be loved, so it's like this whole, it's like a universal kind of love that I have. And it sounds cheesy, but it has helped with the behavior management in my classroom. It has taken the most hardcore student and has broken down those layers to where they trust themselves. Because I realized like I have to gain their trust, and they're not going to trust me if they think that I'm just another person in their life just trying to tell them what to do, or if I'm just there, just to be there. So like for my students who even say like, I don't care, I say, well, I do, so that kind of shocks them, like, because they're, what do you mean you care? So they'll like say something else to try to get a reaction out of me, but it's like a big cry for help, because I was once that student, but instead of me lashing out, I became more introverted. So I was more of a, just a quiet, hoping no one would see me kind of student. So when I see the student that are acting now, I don't take personal offense to it, because I know that no matter what teacher was there, would it be in my place, they would probably react the same way. So I don't take it personal, when they're, acting out, I just take it as like a cry for help and just trying to like build a relationship with them. So the meditation
Yeah, Miss Precious, you're really on to something here. I'm really fascinated with this yoga in the classroom. I haven't heard of that before, but wow, what a magnificent thing to do to teach the children and get them calm and get them back in a loving and a peaceful mood. I think you're really on to something here. I would love to be able to take on the task of trying to get that type of a program, that type of a what you're doing in your classroom, in all classrooms. I really feel like it's needed. I think they need just a peaceful, quiet way to learn to love themselves and learn to love other people. And the group concept is absolutely fantastic. What grade do you teach?
I teach second grade for the past 7 years.
Oh my word, that's awesome. Well, I'm gonna start reaching out, and I don't know if you've tried to organize the yoga program that you're doing in any certain way where you could get it out to the masses, but I'm really excited about that. I think that's just a magnificent thing that might really catch on for lots of people, because that's what they say really in most of those grades, in first to second and third grade, the family unit is not intact, so there's a lot of issues going on. That's why they become bullies, and I do think bullies have low self-esteem, and it all revolves around that family unit that we just simply don't have anymore. So they could learn that really from something like what you're doing. What can parents do to help if their child exhibits signs of depression? Because that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, and just really quickly go back to what you're saying. I would love to have so much help with trying to bring yoga and meditation to the classroom. I don't even know where to start with it because everything is so academic based,
Yes.
like it's all about academics, and children are like numbers nowadays. So I would love to even know like where to start with trying to get this to like, legislators or, because I really
Well, in my personal opinion, it would start with you actually doing a program, maybe writing a book with the program in it, and then you would have something to present to the powers that be that can get this in the curriculum. But it's going to start with your classroom and your school, and then move on and on. But I can see it being really, really something that might go national in curriculum if we worked it right. So I'm really excited. I'll try to help you with that. Although I'm not very good at yoga at all, but I can help you.
Publishers. I need a publisher.
Yes, that's right. I am a publisher, so we can kind of do that. But I think that might be the start to try to get it more well known and more in more schools. But if you start with just your classroom and then it goes to your whole school, and then we make it an elementary education, because that's where all these problems really start. I really think it's something that might take off, but you're going to have to develop the plan and the curriculum for what the program is, and you're the best one that can do that. So anyway, that's exciting. So what do you think the parents should be doing? I mean, I know the parents really, in all honesty, they're not real good at creating good high self-esteem with their children, because even my own son and daughter-in-law do things with my grandchildren that I don't really like. And, and I'm like, don't be so hard on them, because, I mean, there's a lot of pressure from school and everything like that. So,
I feel like one thing that, and I'm speaking from experience too, because I have a 13-year-old. One thing parents needs to kind of do is kind of like get with the times. The feelings that your child is feeling, they are real. It's not to be dismissed, because if they can't be vulnerable with you, then they're left to the wolves. They're left to an environment that'll tell them what they want to hear. And that's not what you want. You want to have your child's trust. You want to be a listening ear. Even when my daughter tells me things and I'm like, on the inside, I'm like, I can't believe you did that. My mouth is closed because I'm listening to her. And then I try to kind of voice my opinion without making her feel embarrassed for coming to me. because when it's all said and done, kids are people pleasers. Like they want to please. They want to please their parents. They want to make their parents proud. They want to make their teachers proud. So they have that pressure on them too. Trying to make mom proud and not say the wrong thing. So just listening to your child. And another big thing is outside of gaining your child's trust, letting them know that what they're feeling is like what they're feeling, they have the right to feel the way that they feel. So if they're being bullied, they're not soft. Like I've heard some of my kids' parents tell them to man up, but he's 8. So yeah, I just feel like parents can definitely like be a listening ear to their kids, and just be someone that their kids can come to and to trust, because there is a generational gap there. Sometimes kids forget that we were once kids too. And like I said, the times have changed. Like social media plays such a big part in kids feeling like, if one incident has happened, the whole world can see it, even if it's just 4 people. To them, it's the whole world. So just being there, just being present. And I know that we have a lot of working parents, a lot of parents that are, just trying to make ends meet. And sometimes you just want to help them with their homework and put them to bed. But just, taking that extra mile to let your child know that they do have a voice, that you do see them, that you hear them. And if it's 5 minutes a night, like every day I ask my daughter, what's the peak and the pit of your day? And it's just a 3-minute conversation. So she'll tell me like the highlight of her day, and she'll tell me, the low point of her day. Just keeping that communication open, so that they feel comfortable coming to you. They don't feel like if they come to you, it'll be used against them, or there'll be a disappointment.
Well, I see that a lot with my own grandchildren, especially the 11-year-old. He's been a juvenile diabetic since he was 7 years old, insulin dependent. So he has a pump, but he plays lots of sports. He plays baseball, and they've been playing the same team since they were 5 years old, and now they're 11. Okay, it's a group of boys, and the coach is very, very tough. I mean, they love to say there's no crying in baseball, and I mean, I kind of go in orbit, because when you have a young diabetic like that, their emotions do run high. Yeah. and they are prone to crying if for no reason. So I get a little upset with that. But I know this coach he loves these children, because it was funny last year they were playing in the championship game to go to the World Series, and they lost the last game, which was a championship game, to go to the World Series in Chicago, as a matter of fact. And it was so funny because everybody was crying. The parents, the children, the grandparents, the coaches. The coaches all had to put their sunglasses on because they were crying, and I wanted so bad to go up to him and say, there's no crying in baseball. But I didn't, because I think they learned their lesson, is that these are just children. These are emotional, and sometimes when you have diabetes, you really do get over emotional. But he's learned to control it a little more now. This coach is really, really great for these kids. They adore him, even though he's rough on them. But still, I mean, that kind of made me laugh when you were talking about that, because that is what happens. That's the kind of thing that really takes all that self-esteem from those children if they do, if they mess up or something. So, yeah. So, what about? So you think self-esteem plays a role in bullying? I believe that too. I believe that bullies have low self-esteem. That's why they take it out on other people. So can we talk a little bit more about some of your experiences with the bullying that you've seen in your classroom, and how you've kind of handled that?
Oh Lord, I've seen kids just walk up and punch someone. I've seen kids like get so angry to where they'll, like, if they're lined up for like lunch, and they'll get so angry just for like saying the slightest thing, like make sure your shirt's tucked in. They'll push one kid, and it's a domino, like 5-6 kids fall. I've had a kid was like picking up his table and like shaking it really, really hard. And I told him to stop. And then he threw a pencil sharpener at me. He threw the reading basket at me. He threw a chair at me. I was like the Matrix. I was like dodging every thing that came my way. Every one of those scenarios, the kid would feel like no one cared. Like the parents, we're relatively young, so I feel like they were trying to like live their lives and figure out the developmental stage of their child at the same time, because I think that the parents kind of got frustrated because it's like, well, I don't tell my child to go to school to do this, but I feel like, the teacher feels like the child is a reflection of the parents. And I let them know, like, I don't feel like your child is a reflection of you. I don't feel like you would tell your child to go to school and throw a pencil sharpener at me. But at some point, like, the home life does kind of play a role in it. And then with those children, every day I have to reprogram. It's just like no letting up until the end of the school year. Sometimes they can self-regulate, but for the most part, I have to kind of reset them every single day because they're with me for a short amount of time and then they're home. So that has been sort of just having that low self-esteem and just lashing out, whether you're an adult or a child. And that's why I say, like, me and as an adult, I know I can't take it personal, but the kids in the class, they don't understand that. They just look at you as like a mean person that they don't want to play with. So now you have no friends, and now you're really acting out because no one wants to play with you. So now they feel isolated. And that's why I'm so big on meditating, touch. Like when we do our partner yoga, they're like touching each other's hands. We're playing like, games that kind of like, just, involve, like touching each other's hands or like, like shoulder to shoulder, just kind of like letting someone into your space. I also do something called soul gazing, where at the end of every meditative session, they hold hands and they just say like one thing that they think is special about a person, then a person says one thing that's special about them. So for each bully that I've had in my room, some of them, they do a complete U-turn, and some are just a work in progress for the whole year. And I felt like I failed them if by the end of the year they're not this yoga guru, But I had to realize, like, they've had 7 years of experiences before they got to me, and they're only with me for 10 months.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I just try to do the best I can.
Wow. Okay, we're going to the book now. We're going to go to your book. So if you wouldn't mind, will you hold it up? I want people to see it. Love You, For You. And I've read the book. I've seen the book, and it's absolutely fantastic. It does have a global touch to it. There's more than just Americans in there, you can tell. The graphics are beautifully done. Whoever did the graphics in the book did a beautiful job. So let's talk a little bit about the book, because really that's what's going to bring this all together for you, Precious. And really, I want people to be able to know where to get the book and what the book's about and what's happening, because that's what's going to draw everything in and make you really more well-known internationally because of your book. So how did you come up with the concept of the book, and what is the concept of the book?
I came up with the concept because, like I said, I have a 13-year-old daughter. She's biracial. She's half Mexican, half Black. And when she was 3 years old, she was at the park playing, and she was playing with some Caucasian kids. And one of the parents didn't want my daughter to play with her daughter, so she just picked her child up and like snatched her child away. And my daughter kind of felt like she didn't know what was going on. She kind of felt like it was her fault. So when she was 3, I had to explain like racism and prejudice to her. And I felt robbed because that's kind of a conversation you want to have with your child when they're older. So I had to explain racism and prejudice. So of course she didn't get it. So I wrote her a poem titled Love You, For You. And it was just a really short poem. And then when I started going to school to become a teacher, I started meeting different kids, different ethnicities. So I kind of turned the poem into a book to kind of reach like more kids. And then when I became a teacher, I started, I joined this international teaching forum called iEarn. And I got to collaborate with teachers from Pakistan, Iran, Canada, Mexico, South America. And I turned my book into more of a cultural, global citizenship kind of thing. So it kind of stemmed from my daughter was 3 years old, and I wrote it in 2007. It got published in 2016. So for 11 years, here it is. And so it stemmed from that one moment, but I wanted to reach more than just my daughter. I wanted to reach every child that, no matter what size you are, what height, what weight, what background, what religion. You are worthy, you are special, you are beautiful just the way you are. So that's kind of like where the history behind it.
Wow, that's beautiful. You keep amazing me on here. I had no idea, so I love that. So you that must have been devastating for you, especially with your child. I know I can't control myself when people mistreat my grandchildren, so I get in trouble with that. But so the book, it was you wrote it in 2007, but it wasn't published until 2016.
Yeah, I sent it to so many publishers. My goal was to send it to 100 publishers a year, and that's what I did. So 100 national, international, local. And it finally got picked up. So I was so excited about that. And of course, now I'm just tired. I'm just hoping that, I'm just really hoping that this would be successful, because I have a series, and the next sequel is called Love Them for Them. So this book is like, love you for you. So it's teaching that whole, self-love aspect. Remember, like the whole yoga meditation, individual. And then the next one is love them for them. So now, like, if you think like in a partner yoga or group yoga, now that I know how to treat and love myself, now I know how to treat and love others. So that's kind of where I'm hoping that it can go.
Oh, it can. It can. We don't want to use the word hope, because it can. I firmly believe that. So I think it's going to be a tremendous hit. I'm real excited about it. So where can we get the book? Is it on Amazon as well as in the big bookstores, or what?
It is, because my book was published in the United Kingdom. It's been doing really well on Amazon UK and on other international sites. But on other sites, like it'll like stock like 10 books, and then it'll like sell out, stuff like that. But Amazon UK has been the most successful. Amazon.com, like the US Amazon, they have had my book listed as temporarily unavailable since August. And I've called my publishers. My publishers are saying that the book is in stock in the US, but it's up to the warehouse to release it. So I just kind of gave up on Amazon.com. But Amazon UK, and you just type in the title of my name, and my Facebook page, Precious Allen, the author. Like, I always have my book link available to the public. So Facebook, Precious Allen, the author, and like the link is always there.
Yeah, that's important for us to know, especially when we broadcast our show, and the videotape as well as the speaking version. We're going to want people to know where they can go and click on it, because I think they're going to really be interested in this. I'm really excited about it. I believe that we're almost finished. There's only one more thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that was the Global Goodwill Ambassador that you've become. Can you explain a little bit about that program to the audience?
Yes, it's an awesome program. I was so excited to be even nominated. It's a network of people that just open themselves to the world unselfishly, without wanting anything back. They're doing good deeds and good wills out of the kindness of their hearts. They're not looking for any recognition. They're just genuinely good people that are taking the skills that they possess and they're sharing it with other people, no matter what those skills are, whether they've been to school or not. They're taking, what they love and the things that they like to do, like volunteering in shelters, doing runs or walks for different charities, donating. They're just making an impact in the world unselfishly. This is a beautiful network of people.
Wow, that's fantastic. It's a beautiful thing. Well, I'm so excited to have had you. I appreciate you for your time today, and I think you've been so informative. I think our audience is going to really love this interview. And I just like to, in closing, say that WYTV7 is a nonprofit. We do take donations, so any seed that you can plant, even $5 would be beautiful. We use the donations to promote our broadcast internationally. So I'm real excited about that. And of course, this will be on iHeartRadio too, which is huge. It's going to be real exciting. And the last thing that I'd like to say is that I love you, precious, for you. Okay? So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
In your light, shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine.